What's up, Raider Nation? My name is Raider Glenn Diesel, and thank you for tuning in to another great episode of Commitment to Bringing You Excellent Podcasts. As we know, the free agency period is vastly approaching. It's going to be here before we know it. It's going to be legal tampering period on Monday. So a lot of deals are going to be, possibly getting done right around that time. But it's here, and as we know that this is the perfect time right now. The Raiders are in a rebuild, so this is where it starts. Right here is where the rebuild begins, and we have a lot of money to spend. We have the most cap space in the NFL right now. So, and I know that John Spytek, as his words that he said, is that we are going to be intelligently aggressive. So basically, they're going to be aggressive, but they're also going to be intelligent by, who they bring in and what they spend, right? So the we know the biggest issue that we have is the offensive line. So I don't think the offensive line is, bad as what everybody makes it out to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a bad offensive line coming into last year. They actually was uh, pretty good. The last 10 games of the season under, Joe Philbin, when Joe Philbin took over after Antonio Pierce, um, or not Antonio Pierce, but I guess when the offensive coordinator got let go, then he got brought in to be the offensive line coach, and they got better. Like I said, the last 10 games of the season, they actually was ranked in, I think, number 19 and number 20 to finish the season. So they were getting better, and then last year it just all fell apart. Okay, so and that was a lot to do with the coaching and the things that was going on inside that building. So, not saying it's a bad offensive line or if it's bad as what everybody makes it out to be, but we do need some pieces on that line. We do need to upgrade some talent on that line. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the biggest focus for me because we're bringing in a rookie quarterback and Fernando Mendoza. So we got to start building pieces around Fernando to make sure that that he's successful, that he's comfortable, and that he succeeds. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we have a solid offensive line. So as of right now, like the biggest fish on the market is Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Baltimore, right? He's the cream of the crop. He's the apple of everybody's eye right now, right? So we got to make sure that we secure him, right? We have Jackson Powers Johnson on the roster that can play center, but I don't think that they want him to play center, right? I think it's been pretty much told to us and conveyed to us that he's a better guard, that he is best suited at guard, right? It's okay to have flexibility, you know what I'm saying, but they look at him as a guard. So Kubiak was asked in one of his pressers or whatever media sessions that he was sitting down at, and they asked him, "What are you looking for in a center?" He said, "Someone that is smart. He wants his center to make all the calls, line protect, make sure that he sets the protection, make sure he calls out the mic, make sure he conveys, what defense they're in or whatever. He wants to take that off of the quarterback's plate. He wants to make sure that the quarterback has so much to do. He wants to alleviate that from his plate, right? So he wants his center, making the calls. All right. So he wants somebody that's smart. He wants somebody that, that is nasty, that has that, nasty mentality, that's aggressive, right? and he wants somebody that's durable. So as we know, Jackson Powers Johnson has not been. He's been injured every year that he's been with us, right? So those are the things that Kubiak said he looks for and that he wants in his center. And so the person out there that fits that mold is Tyler Linderbaum from Baltimore. Okay, he's 26 years old. He definitely is a tone setter. He has that mentality. Um, he uses his feet very well. He has elite foot speed, has body control uh, that allows him to match up against pass rushers, also to climb to the second level in the run game. And his pass block win rate is the 97.2, which is tied for second amongst 31 qualifying centers. Okay. Durability. He's missed 2 games in his career. He played 17 games as a rookie, played 15 games as in his second year, and has played 17 games the last 2 years. So he's very durable. Okay. So that is who should be number one on the list of players to go after. He should be number one, getting that center to solidify the line. Almost kind of like, Raider Nation. Go back when we signed Rodney Hudson in free agency from Kansas City, right? And we had a young rookie quarterback in Derek Carr. He done wonders for Derek. You know what I'm saying? Been a rookie, been a sophomore, in his third year, or whatever. Rodney Hudson was elite. He was Pro Bowl, and that's what Tyler Linderbaum brings to us. He's a rookie of the year, and he's been and he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. So he's made the Pro Bowl the last 3 years. So that's the type of level of play that you will see out of Tyler Linderbaum if you go back to what Rodney Hudson did for us at the center position way back when. So that is definitely should be the number one target on the Raiders wish list come free agency period. Now here's the thing. Spotrac, has Tyler Linderbaum as around 18, 19 million a year, 4-year offer or whatever. And that's just a little bit of a tick above what the center, the highest paid center is right now. It was reported that Baltimore offered him I guess a groundbreaking, basically, setting the market deal, and he turned it down. So to me, it was probably about a $20 million offer or whatever, and probably his representation probably was like, no, we can get better on the market. You know what I'm saying? Let's test the waters, and which is right, which is good for him. He should. You know what I'm saying? Test the market. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know what Baltimore is offering, right? Okay, so test the water. So I get what where Spotrac has their quote unquote fair market value, but for me, I'm looking at it as it's the money each year. The cap only goes up. So why not just go ahead and say, you know what, let's just do it right now, and let's make the offer that nobody really wants to touch, because obviously, San Diego, or not San Diego, I'm sorry, Los Angeles Chargers went out and got Tyler. I think his name was Trevor Biadasz or something like that. Tyler Biadasz. So they already was kind of like, yeah, we're probably gonna be out of that market for Linderbaum. So they went ahead and got Tyler Biadasz, and then the Bears went ahead and traded for a center because they were, their center just abruptly, retired on them or whatever. So looks like they're probably out of the market, right? and there's still several teams that is still in the market for Linderbaum. So for me, if it was me, I would like, look, dog, we're just gonna go ahead and just reset the market and really reset the market. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna give you a 4-year, $96 million, dollar contract, and with the average of a 24 million. Because I think it's really gonna take about 22 to 24, 23, 24 range. And I'm just like, just throw it out and say, look, you're our guy, 24 mil a year, sign, seal, delivered. That's what I would do. Now, if we can't get that, or if we decide, okay, that's just too much for us to go because we got other needs, even though we have the money, intelligently aggressive, from what Spottek said, then pivot to someone that again is a really elite center in Connor McGovern from Buffalo. He's 28 years old. As I said, Linderbaum was 97.2 pass block grade, tied for second out of 31 qualifying centers. So who was he tied to or tied with? Connor McGovern. Connor McGovern also has a 97.2 pass block grade, based off of PFF. So he brings that mentality. He brings that nastiness. He also brings the durability. He has played in 16 games each of the last 4 years. Okay, and in the 2 years prior to that, he played in 15. So he played in 15, and then 16 in the last 4 years. So he's durable. Okay, so if that's where we're looking at, those are the two. To me, those are the two. If we're going center, which I think we'll probably also draft a center to put in that room, so that'll give us Will Putnam, that'll give us either Linderbaum or McGovern, and then that'll give us a rookie in that room, to have depth and have somebody to develop. So the contract, Mark or Spotrac has Connor McGovern's contract at, let's see, 3-year deal for $48.8 million. That is an average of $16.3 million a year. So that is slightly under the 24 mil that we would give to Linderbaum, but Linderbaum is 2 years younger, so I would be willing to do the 24 for 26, and 16 for a 28-year-old. So those are the two centers that I'm looking at that the Raiders should definitely have on their wish list, and those are the two, to me, the two main targets that they should be looking at. Now, after the center position, we should be focusing on our guards, the interior of the offensive line. Right now, we did have Alex Cappa on the roster, but they released him. They saved $6 million on that deal. So he's no longer on the roster, but that leaves us Jackson Powers-Johnson, Caleb Rogers, Antonio Mafi, and Curtis McClendon. Now, Curtis McClendon and Antonio Mafi, they only have 1 year left on the deal. So in reality, we only have two guards on the roster, which is Jackson Powers-Johnson and Caleb Rogers, which this is going into Caleb Rogers' second year. Okay, so guard play is definitely going to be something that the Raiders should be focusing on. Okay, now the next person that I should that I'm looking at, that the Raiders should be looking at, is Zion Johnson, the guard from the Chargers. He's young. I mean, he'll be 26, or this season. He's 26 years old or whatever. So during the season, he's young. He's durable, and he has all the movement traits that you need for a guard. He definitely can fit both the zone and gap run schemes. That's what we're going to be running with the Kubiak system. So a lot of the players that I'm bringing to the table is players that is going to fit in the scheme. I'm not sitting here looking at all these players or whatever just because of the name and they're out there and just say, okay, I want this person, I want this person. No, I'm looking at it as what is best for the Raiders. What do I think the Raiders are probably going to do based off of, again, scheme fits, age. They're doing a rebuild, so you're looking at someone that they can kind of build with. You know what I'm saying, with the team or whatever. So he definitely fits that mold. He's just now entering his prime. Okay, and PFF has him graded out as a 90.7 pass blocking grade in his 4 years in the league. So that is someone to definitely keep your eye on. Someone that we should be trying to target. I mean, he fits the age. He fits the zone gap scheme. He fits the mentality. He has a 90 plus pass grade, something that we haven't had in a very long time on that offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So that is someone that we should definitely keeping our eyes on and be targeted in free agency. And Spotrac has Zion Johnson right now. Again, he's 26 years old, so they have him a 3-year, $33.7 million, which is an average of 11.3. So not very much, you know what I'm saying? So that fits right into kind of what we're wanting. You know what I'm saying? Has the age, he has the durability, he has the fit scheme or the fit with the scheme, and he's not breaking the bank. Now, if we cannot get Johnson, then we need to kind of pivot to the next person on my list, which is going to be David Edwards. David Edwards is from Buffalo, as well as Connor McGovern. He's 29 years old. Okay, so with David Edwards, again, if we cannot get Tyler Linderbaum, this would be perfect because Connor McGovern and David Edwards played with each other, right? So they've spent 3 years together, so they know the verbiage. Edwards knows how Connor McGovern is going to call a game. He knows how, when he sets the protection, what I'm saying? So he has a familiarity with Connor McGovern. Now, even if we don't get, as I say, we get Tyler Linderbaum or whatever, I'll still be looking at David Edwards if we don't get Zion Johnson or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not making it as whereas Connor McGovern and David Edwards or whatever. David Edwards would definitely still be someone that I'm targeting, even if we get Tyler Linderbaum, because what Edwards brings, he definitely brings someone that can play the position. He was an option quarterback and played basketball in high school, so you can definitely see the light feet on the field when he's redirecting in pass protection and definitely trying to climb up into the second level. You can see that in this game. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's played his best football in the last couple of seasons. And you can see that he's getting better with age. He'd be 29 years old, someone that is a Grizzly veteran, you know what I'm saying? And he's got a 95 pass blocking win rate, which is top 10 out of 65 qualifying guards. So so again, you can kind of see the theme that I'm trying to go here. You got Colton Miller, so we know what Colton Miller can do. So we got our stable left tackle. Then if we get Zion Johnson or David Edwards, they're both 90 plus. Like Edwards is 95 as guard, and then Zion Johnson was 90.7, almost 91%. Pass blocking grade through PFF. Then we got Jackson Powers Johnson, so we know what he has on as the right guard. Then you got Tyler Linderbaum, that is ranked second in pass blocking grade. So I'm building a line. I'm building a line that's going to protect our asset, our future asset, and our future franchise quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. So that's some players that I'm looking at. And if we can't get those players or whatever, then I'm looking at another player that is not so much, what I'm saying, like if I'm ranking them, as Tyler Linderbaum, then Connor McGovern, and then at guard I got Zion Johnson, then I got David Edwards, and then the next one on my list is he's a little bit older, but he's definitely still a solid guard, and that's Isaac Salmola from Pittsburgh. Again, the reason why I have him on the list is because that's they run that zone blocking scheme, okay, and he's been in that zone blocking scheme, and the last 4 years with Pittsburgh. He's 32 years old, so he's a 10-year vet. He still has the foot quickness, and still still able to redirect defenders. He has great body control just because of the wrestling background that he has in high school. So he can definitely basically handle his own on power rushers or whatever. So what I like about Salmola is that he has a 97.3 pass blocking grade, which is second among 65 qualifying guards. So now he's a little bit better than Zion Johnson. So like say for instance, we got David Edwards, and then we got Isaac, Salmola. Our line would definitely be 95 plus in pass blocking grade. And I know that Zion Johnson has a 91 pass blocking grade through PFF, but Isaac Salmola is 32, Zion Johnson is 26. So I'll take that trade off, what I'm saying, but just because of the age. But that's should be the wish list. That's my wish list, and that should be the Raiders' wish list on offensive guard or at offensive line play. You know what I mean? So looking at so far the offensive line, I do think that we need to kind of upgrade on right tackle. Now, DJ Glaze has been solid, okay, but he really hasn't had anybody in the building or in camp to push him and have someone compete with him for that right tackle job. Okay, so I think bringing in some healthy competition, bring someone in from free agency to compete with him is shouldn't be an issue. We got to get better, and then and once these guys come into the building, there's just slides, our guys down, and then we have depth. Because we look at it, how many times have we had someone go down, and then it's like, the person behind them, it falls off, and then that's where our season falls off because we don't have established depth behind our starters. So that's what we need to start trying to get to is get to where we have our starters that are elite, and then our backups that come in. They're right under they're not elite, but they're solid. There's not that much of a drop off. And so tackle is going to be the next position that I'm looking at in free agency. So the tackle market is not as good as the offensive line or the inside interior free agents that's out there, but there's a couple solid tackles out there. For instance, Braden Smith from Indianapolis Colts. Now he's 30 years old. I mean, he's a big-bodied drive blocker. I mean, he's 6'6", 312 pounds. He definitely can match, the power and pass protection Um, he has he has some concerns. Like he's missed 13 games in the last 3 years, so he does have some injury issue. Going on, and that does happen at 30 years old. Again, I'm bringing him up just because he he is a solid right tackle. So again, someone to bring in as competition to DJ Glaze. Um, but I wouldn't be upset if you know if they looked elsewhere. You know what I mean? But I did want to bring up his name because he is a solid right tackle, and he does play in that zone blocking system. So um, now, if they were to go after Braden Smith, uh, Spotrac has him at 3 years, 40.5 million, average of 13.5. Again, that may be a little bit too rich for my blood, just because of the injury. The injury history that he's portrayed the last 3 years or whatever. But anyways, I wanted to bring up his name, and then another person I wanted to bring up was Jonah Williams from Arizona. I mean, he's 29 years old. Again, another tackle that has some injury issues the past couple of years. Spotrac has him at 3 year, 20.6 million, and the average 13.3 million. So again, a little slightly cheaper than Braden Smith. They do have a little bit more experience at tackle than the next one on the list of the wish list or whatever. Now, to me, this next one, if I was going after a tackle in free agency, again, I know those are the high price names or whatever. Those are the names that everyone's talking about. But if I had one tackle that I wanted to get or wanted to see the Raiders get, it would be this tackle here. The tackle that I'm talking about is Josh Jones from Seattle. Now, he's only started 17 games in his, I think, 6 years. But the reason why I say now even though he's only started 17 games, he's played in 90 games. So he's played in a significant amount of plays. So he has shown what he can do on a football field. But he's just kind of sitting behind. Again, he's been a death piece. Now, the reason why I said that I would like for the Raiders to go out and get him, one, he has familiarity with Kubiak, being in Seattle. So he knows what Josh Jones can bring, right? He knows, Josh knows how to play in Kubiak's scheme, right? So we've seen it. Kubiak's seen it. So going out and getting someone like that Spotrac has at 3 years, 10.5 million, average of 3.5 million a year is perfect. He's the right age. He's been in the system. He's Kubiak's worked with him, right? And he really doesn't have the wear and tear because he hasn't, even though he's played in 90 games, he's only had 17 starts. All right. And you're bringing somebody in for competition, right? To bring in to help either push DJ Glaze or, have a healthy competition in camp. And if he beats out DJ Glaze, great. And then now we got a solid depth piece sitting behind in DJ Glaze. So that's the one. If we target or if we go into a free agency saying, okay, we need a tackle or let's try to come away with the tackle, then for me, Josh Jones would be the one that I would look at. But I also, like I said, I wanted to bring up those other two names just for the simple fact they do have a lot of starting starts under their belt. They are solid as far as being a right tackle in this league, but injury concerns definitely scare me. So if we come away with uh, at least one or two of those players or three of those players, so let's just say that we come away with Tyler Linderbaum at center, and then we come away with Isaac or not Isaac, but Zion Johnson and or David Edwards at guard. All right, that gives us for our tackles, or and then we come away with Josh Jones, right? That'll give us as far as our tackles: Cole Miller, Josh Jones, DJ Glaze, and Charles Grant and Joshua Miles. Right, Charles Grant was a rookie last year, so he's got a lot of development to do or whatever. So that'll definitely give him, an opportunity again to compete for that right tackle position. And then if he, if he doesn't get win a job or whatever, say, Josh Jones wins the job, then great. We got DJ Glaze and we got Charles Grant behind them, pushing for starts. And then, Charles Grant's a swing, so he can either play left or he can play right. So again, he's competition for the right tackle, and then he's also if Colton goes down, then he can swing over to the left. So again, he brings that flexibility. Now it brings our interior O-line to David Edwards or Zion Johnson at left guard. Then you got Tyler Linderbaum at center. Then you got JPJ at right guard. And then you have Caleb Rogers, Antonio Mafi, and Curtis McClendon as the backups. So, and then even if they don't go out and get a guard, say they're comfortable with, Caleb Rogers or whatever starting, then they can go into the draft and look for some depth there. But I would like for them to bring in at least one guard because Caleb Rogers was a rookie to bring into the building or whatever. So, all right, so that's the offensive line, and then I'm gonna switch over to defense because that is definitely emphasis or focus, area that we need to be looking at. So interior line, offensive line, and then edge and linebackers is the next group that I think we should be targeting in free agency. So switching to the defensive side of the ball, we're definitely going to need some edges because we are going to a 3-4 scheme. All right. So Rob Leonard got promoted to defensive coordinator and was announced that we're going to be running a 3-4 scheme, which I'm totally fine with. I mean, that's definitely a change from the 4-3 scheme that we've run for years and years and years. I think the last time we ran a 3-4 scheme was when Rob Ryan was our defensive coordinator, going all the way back to like 2010-ish time or whatever. So it's going to be, a healthy change that I'm all for. So with that being said, that we're going to be running a 3-4 scheme, we're definitely going to need some edge rushers. And to me, the one that jumps off the page for me is going to be Odafe Oweh from the Chargers. He's definitely that edge. You can see the burst and the get off that he has. I mean, he's an explosive, pass rusher. After getting traded from the Ravens, which, by the way, played, Rob Leonard was there in Baltimore with Mike McDonald when Odafe was there. So there's familiarity there with Odafe with Leonard, right? being under that scheme, he fits perfect. You know, so basically last year he had 7.5 sacks and 27 pressures. For Los Angeles, and he also recorded 3 sacks in the wild card playoff game against the Patriots. So in his 5-year career, he has 30.5 sacks, which is really good. So I think by going out and getting someone that is familiar with your scheme, someone a player that you're familiar with because you were there in the building under Mike Macdonald when Odafe was there in Baltimore for the 4 years that he was there. So you know what type of player he is. And Spotrac right now has him at a 3-year. He's 27, has him as a 3-year, $57.9 million with an average of $19.3 million. So it's not break the bank type contract. You know what I'm saying? He's young and he has, he's familiar with the system and he's familiar with the defensive coordinator. So I think that'll be a perfect fit. And I think that'll be someone definitely high on the Raiders wish list. All right. So the next edge that I'm looking at is someone that we're familiar with, someone that was on the roster a couple years, last year or a couple years under Josh McDaniels when Josh McDaniels was the head coach, and that was K'Lavon Chaisson. And I did not want to let him go. Now he may not want to come back because it may be some some feelings there because Spytek let him walk out the building, and he went right back to Josh McDaniels in New England, and they went to the Super Bowl. So he may not want to come back, but I put him on a list just because he's young, he's 27. He's only ascending. You know what I'm saying? And he would be perfect for that 3-4 scheme just because of the explosiveness, how fast he is, and he gets after the quarterback off the edge. So I put him on the list. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen just because of he was just in the building and Spytek, in his first year as GM, let him go. But if he was to, kind of swallow that and say, hey, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? It's business or whatever. Spotrac has him at a 3-year, 27 mil and an average of $9 million. So again, like I said, I put him on the list, but I don't think it'll happen. So the next edge that I want to talk about is Boye Mafe. He's someone again that has a lot of familiarity with the system that Rob Leonard is going to want to run, right? He comes from the Mike Macdonald's tree, and Seattle Seahawks has a lot of free agents this year. I mean, that's what happens, I guess, when you go to Super Bowl and when you win a Super Bowl, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You lose a lot of your key players. So Boye Mafe is definitely someone that I'm intrigued by and that I'm looking at. I mean, he's 27 years old. Again, he has ties with Kubiak. Kubiak was just in that building. He just won a Super Bowl with that team. So he is someone that should be on the radar, and I think he is on the radar. Like I said, he's 27 years old. Spotrac has his fair market value at 3 years, $36.2 million, an average of 12.2. So again, for an edge, that's doable. You know what I mean? He has familiarity in the system that Rob Leonard is going to run. He has familiarity with Kubiak, or Kubiak has familiarity with him because he coached the offense under that that defense, or whatever. So he had to go against that defense week in and week out. So he has a lot of interest for me, and I hope that the Raiders have a lot of interest for him. Now, the next person that I want to talk about is also someone that has not so much ties, but that runs under that scheme. Mike McDonald was in Baltimore. Baltimore had this player, Draymond Jones, um, that was in his system. Again, you want to look for players in free agency that is young, that is not going to break the bank, and that can fit your system. So pretty much all of these guys that I've just named fits that mold. And Draymond Jones, he is a little bit on the older side. He's 29 years old, but Spotrac only has him at a 2-year, 20.6 million with a 10.3 million average salary. So again, that's doable. Now the last person that's on the list, on my wish list, is AJ Epinoza from Buffalo. He's 27 years old. He would. The reason why I have him on the list is because, again, if we go to the 3-4 scheme, he can play that outside linebacker position, or he can play the edge. So he can play both. So he's very fluid in both of those areas or whatever. So again, depending on how the defensive line shapes out, then you'll be able to kind of move AJ Epinoza to the outside linebacker and have him rushing, from the linebacker position. So again, he has flexibility, and he definitely would be a fit in that 3-4 scheme. And Spotrac has his fair market value at 2 years, 12.8 million, which with an average of 6.4 million. So depending on what happens with Max, that if Max doesn't get traded, which I look for him to be traded, like I said, hell, he may be traded by, as I'm doing this podcast. So as I'm doing this podcast, he is still on the roster, and I'm still looking at him as a Raider. So, but if he leaves in a trade, then that definitely opens up to look at multiple players in free agency, and these 5 are definitely viable, because right now we have Max, Tyree Wilson, Brennan Jackson, and Jafari Harvey is our edges on the roster. So as you see, we are lacking depth, and we are lacking talent. So we definitely need to fill that room with some highly talented elite players. So that is the edge wish list. And now I'm going to be focusing on the next area of need, which is linebackers, because we have no linebackers. Well, actually, our starting linebackers are hitting the free agents list. And I think Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg, and Jamin Davis is the only 3 linebackers that we have currently on the roster. So it's kind of interesting, man, looking at the linebackers out there. It's kind of crazy, because I mean, it's usually to me, free agent the past free agency has been really like star-studded, like high in talent. Like you have a couple of those, and then it just falls off from there, right? It looks like this free agency has a lot of quality starters that you can kind of pull from each position. And linebackers, like I don't think I've seen like a linebacker group in free agency in a very long time, as far as being available. So I was kind of excited, man, kind of seeing with that being an area of need, and seeing these linebackers, being out there was kind of crazy. The first person, man, that's definitely on my list that I hope we can get our hands on is linebacker Devin Lloyd from Jacksonville. I mean, he's 27 years old. He can definitely, he has that off-ball production, so he can play like the linebacker position. Again, he also can play the defensive end, or not defensive end, but play that 3-4 linebacker where he's rushing the quarterback from that position. So he can definitely rush the quarterback. So he has value there. He has 5 interceptions in 2025. So, I mean, he was like see ball, give ball, right? And he also returned one for a touchdown. So he's definitely a high end, solid linebacker that if we're going to that 3-4 scheme, he's definitely someone that should be high on the wish list. So bringing him in again fits the mold of being young, being highly productive, being durable, being able to be flexible, and is a game changer. And Spotrac right now has him at 3 years, 60.4 million with an average of 20 million a year. So um, kind of seeing where that would go, with that and see if that's what he gets. But I mean, if that's what that's what he's asking for. Like I said, I don't see any reason why that would be, break the bank money. Like for that talent, that's doable, and it should be, something that we look at. All right, so the next linebacker is going to be Quay Walker from Green Bay. He's 26 years old. So, Devin Lloyd was 27, and Walker's 26. What Walker brings to the table, man, he has explosive traits. He creates playmaking. He has that playmaking ability. His upside is his coverage ability. He can cover ground. He can run sideline to sideline, and he is a running hit defender. So what I like about him is that he can, he diagnoses plays really fast, definitely in the run game. And like I said, when he diagnoses the play and he sees it, and I mean he's coming at you, and he delivers the boom from that linebacker position. So he's extending. He's up and coming. Like I said, he's at that right age at 27, man, and I think he's ready to pop and really put it all together. You know what I'm saying? So for these linebackers to be out there, to be available, and to be so young, again, man, it's kind of crazy, which is good for us because that's an area of need, and that's kind of what we want. We want to go younger. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to build a young team to grow with. So Quay Walker is definitely someone that we should be targeting. He, like I said, he's 26. Spotrac has his fair market value at 3 years, 24.8 million, which with an average of 8.3 million a year. So again, for what we need, and someone that is ascending, that is getting better, year after year. 8.3 million is the right price to bring in, you know, to this young roster. So, again, what I like about so far and going through with the next names that I'm gonna go through on the linebackers list is man how young they are, and in their prime, and their best football is yet to come. So this next linebacker, I'm really intrigued by because it kind of reminds me of a Robert Spillane. When we got Robert Spillane, because everybody was like, "Man, who is Robert Spillane?" Because he wasn't really a household name. He wasn't really a starter at Pittsburgh. When he was with the Steelers, he was a backup, came in, and when he was on the field, he played exceptional. Right, he played well. He was just buried in a depth chart, right? But we seen what happened whenever he got a chance, right? When he came over to the Raiders and signed with the Raiders, and we seen what he was able to do. We were like, wow, okay, you know what I'm saying? And I hated to see Spilly go, man. Like Spillane was one of my favorites, just in the short time that he was a Raider. You know what I'm saying? So I was pissed when we let him go. So and this linebacker, man, Leo Chanel from Kansas City, he reminds me of Robert Spillane. You know what I'm saying? Because he's buried in the depth chart. He's not a starter. So What I like about Chanel, man, is that he brings versatility, to any game plan that he's in. As a defender, man, he can play off the ball. You can start him in the front. You can even stand him up, like defensive tackle, man, and let him rush the quarterback. He's very very good at tackling. Tackling the ball carrier. You know what I'm saying, in the run game. So he plays the second level very well. And in the 4 seasons that he's been in Kansas City, he's recorded 193 tackles, 7 sacks, and 28 pressures. So again, he's at that right age. He's 25 years old. He's about to enter into his prime, and he just needs an opportunity to get on the field. As an everyday starter. So I would love if the Raiders went out and brought in Chanel um, to this roster, and being 25, and Spotrac has his fair market value at 3 years, 13.9 million, with an average of 4.6 million. Perfect. It's almost kind of like what we gave Spillane got a little bit more than that, but again, to have someone in the 25 years old in his prime that's been productive on the field when he got an opportunity to play, and to $4.6 million to bring him in the building, man, that's an automatic slam dunk for me. So hopefully he's on the Raiders wish list, on their radar. He's definitely on mine. You know what I'm saying? So keep an eye out on him, and man, let's cross our fingers, because he's definitely one that I want to bring into the building. So the next linebacker, man, everyone should know this name, Nakobe Dean. I mean, Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowls, getting sacks in the Super Bowl. So Nakobe Dean is a prime, should be a prime target, perfect for the 3-4 scheme. You know what I'm saying? And again, someone that is entering his prime. He's 25 years old, and he had a knee injury in 24. But he did come back and produce 4 sacks in the playoffs for them, right? 2 forced fumbles. So he to me is the best blitzing linebacker in the league, just because of his compact build, and like when he arrives, man, he arrives angry, with ill intent. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need. We haven't had that from a linebacker position in a very, very long time. And he also is good in pass protection. So not only can he play the run, not only is he the best blitzing linebacker to me in the league, he's he plays angry. He plays like his his hair's on fire, and he can pass protect. That's just perfect. The speed off the edges, man. Like, can you imagine having him? And then say, you got, Max coming off one end, and you got Odafe Owe or Boy Mafa coming off the other end, and then you got Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean coming out, coming off the edges. Then you got Leo Chanel, man in the middle. Man, that linebacking crew, wow, that would be shit. That'd be hell on wheels, right? So yeah, like I know, man. I know I'm dreaming. I know, like that's what we do, especially around this time. Free agent frenzy. Is like opening up, Christmas presents on Christmas, man. But it's doable. Honestly, I know we got to have bidding wars. Other teams are going to be bidding for these players or whatever. I mean, that's why I'm trying to make a list of 4 to 5 players to look for. I mean, if we can come away with at least one player from each position group, man, that'd be perfect. But like Nakobe Dean, like I said, he's 25 years old now. Spotrac has has his fair market value at 4 years, 31.6 million. That's an average of 7.9 million a year. Again, man, that's you 7.9 million, 4.6 million, 8.3 million. The only one on the list is Devin Lloyd at 21.1. But I mean, if you wanted to say, if you really wanted to go, say, okay, look, intelligently aggressive, right? Okay, say don't go after Devin Lloyd, right? That's 20.1. But Quay Walker, 8.3. Leo Chanel, 4.6. Nakobe Dean, 7.9. All three of those players add up to the 21 or 20.1 million. So instead of going out and getting, like say Devin Lloyd, get these three linebackers. Again, I gave you the pitch perfect scenario. Max and Owe coming off the edge, or Boy Mafa with Max, right? And then you got Quay Walker, and then you got Nakobe Dean on both sides of the outside linebacker. One at Will, one at Sam, right? And then you got Leo Chanel as the Mike. You tell me that wouldn't be a hell of a defensive 7, right? I mean, we still need a nose tackle. We need a true nose tackle to run a 3-4. But again, tell me you wouldn't love that, Raider Nation. That scenario that I just gave you, tell me you wouldn't love that part of it, right? So yeah. Now I got a couple more linebackers, man, that I want to talk about. Like I said, again, I was starting with the youngest, and I'm getting down to the oldest now. So if you want to go out and get like a Grizzly vet, someone that's been in the game for I think he's been in the game 8 years. I think he's going into his like 9th year in the league. But again, you want to bring some experience, someone that is durable. That he averages 15 games a year for his 8-year career. He's got over 100 tackles every year that he's played in the league. I mean, he's got 900 tackles for his career. So he's productive. Again, he's Grizzly. He's experienced, and he's 28 years old. That's Tremaine Edmonds from Chicago. So Tremaine, the thing that I like about him is that he's long and rangy. He's one of those linebackers, man, that he's 6'4", 251 pounds. But he can go sideline to sideline. He definitely has the ball production in coverage, something that we need, especially going into the 3-4 scheme that we're going to be playing in. The dude averages 8.6 tackles per game, right? He has 9 interceptions and 12 pass breakups in the last 3 years with Chicago. So what we've always been screaming, take the ball away. We don't get a lot of takeaways. You know what I'm saying? So he would bring that element to the game, and something that we've been starving for. Again, he's 28, and why I have it listed here, I went from the younger players or whatever. But again, if we miss out on those guys, or if we just want to bring in somebody again that has the knowledge in the game, bring them into the room, then he's perfect. Spotrac has him at 2 years, 20.8 million, an average of 10.4 million a year. So again, I mean, I wouldn't go more than 2 years, 2 to 3 years, because he's 28. So maybe do it like a 2 years, see how it goes with the option, for 3rd year, something like that, to see how he does or whatever. But he should be somebody that we look at come free agent time. Now, the next linebacker is someone on the older side. He is the oldest in this group that I have listed. He's 31 years old. It's Caden Ellis from Atlanta. The reason why I have him on the list, again, it's we're going to that 3-4 scheme. And if they wanted to bring somebody in that has, a veteran, I'm saying that's done it at a high level, that can bring some knowledge to the room, wouldn't be bad. And what I like about him, even though he's 31, he didn't start until 2022. He was a backup, and he played the backup role, and then he got to start in 2022. And the last 3 years, he started every game in the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, he's had 122, 151, and 107 tackles in the last 3 years. So even though he's 31 and he's a little bit on the, I'm saying, on the older side, he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. You know, Someone again that was a backup, and he's only started the last 4 years, really, because he only had 11 starts when he did first start. And then, like I said, the last 3 years, he's got 17, 17, and 17, and he's had over 100 tackles in the last 3 years. So I think he's still got a lot left. So if they did want to bring him in, if they miss out on some of those other guys or whatever, he would be someone that can definitely play in the system, bring some production to that position, and bring someone to show the younger guys what it's like to be a professional in the NFL. And Spotrac has him at 3 years, 27 million at 9 million a year. So again, not break the bank contracts on the linebackers, especially even the guys that's a little bit older. They're not demanding that much of a high contract or whatever. And I definitely wouldn't go any more than like a 2 or 3 year contract. Just because, like I said, right now, all we have on our roster is Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindenberg, and Jamin Davis. So we really need to stockpile that cupboard with more players, more experience, more production, and then, like I said, hopefully, the Bergs, as they're called, can learn, and and I'm pretty sure that they're going to go into the draft. I would almost expect them to go in the draft and draft some linebackers in this upcoming draft too. So the more the merrier, man. Bring them, into the room and let them compete. And I also want to throw out a name, Devin Bush. I put him on the list, because he's available out there. He is young, but it's just an honorable mention. I just want to kind of throw his name out there. But now I'm going to switch over to cornerbacks because that's going to be a high need for us as well, as the theme of this show, this podcast here is there's a lot of needs everywhere. So cornerback is definitely one of them. And like I said, I wanted to kind of go in order of what I think the high priorities, are going down to the low priorities. So depending on if we bring back Eric Stokes or not, which I hope we do, he's someone that I definitely would like for them to bring back. I think he was pretty solid for us. I mean, the biggest concern whenever we signed him last year was, to that 1 year deal, it was a prove it deal. Can you stay on the field? You had a lot of injury history, and he played every game, and he was solid. So I really hope that they bring him back, because if they bring him back, we'll have him in the room, Darian Porter, DeCamerion Richardson, Chigozie, and Sami, and Grady Vance. Those are the cornerbacks that we have in the room. Now, if you take out Eric Stokes, and now that room is even thinner. So cornerback is definitely high on the priority list, and the first name that I hope they look at, and I hope they can get someone that I want in the draft. Man, I was screaming, man, you got to get Tariq Woolen. You got to get Tariq Woolen. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, man, I hope the Raiders get him. And then Seattle snagged him. Obviously, Papa Pete was the head coach there at the time, and that was his prototypical cornerbacks that he likes. You know what I'm saying? So those long, tall, rangy cornerbacks. So of course, he was going to snag him up or whatever, man. But I was hoping the Raiders get him, man. So Tariq Woolen, being 27 years old, he's a ball hawk, man. I mean, he's got 12 interceptions and 37 pass breakups in his 4-year career. So he has the ball production, right? It just, I don't know, like I guess there's been some, he has some consistent eye discipline, I guess, that's preventing him from being, like really, elite and being really a high ceiling coverage cornerback. I mean, we've seen in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got beat, in the playoffs or whatever, just because his eyes wasn't in the right spot, and got beat for a touchdown. But then he did come back and pick off, and got an interception, so, you take the good with the bad, you know what I'm saying? And like, if he can clean that part up, man, he's one hell of a cornerback. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I touched on it, he has the physical traits, you know what I'm saying? He ran a high 4.3, 40s, 6'4", you know what I'm saying? So he's got the physical traits to be a really elite coverage shutdown corner. And he has familiarity with, again, Clint Kubiak, you know what I'm saying? So Clint knows his game. He had to go against him in practice, when he's installing his game plan and they're on the practice field. So he knows what Reek brings to the table, or whatever. So he should be, if they go at cornerback in free agency, he should be the top of the list. And Spotrac has his fair market value. Like right now, they have it as a 1 year. Again, a lot of teams, are looking at again his eye discipline. How he takes gambles. You know what I mean? So I don't know how teams are looking at him or whatever, but I'm just kind of going off of what Spotrac. Spotrac only has it as a 1 year, 8.2 mil. So basically, again, a 1 year prove it deal is what Spotrac is putting out there, and it's 8.2 million a year. If that's what it'll take to get him in the building, 8.2 million for a 1 year deal, hell, I'm all for it. Let's take that gamble. You know what I'm saying? So the next linebacker on the list is someone that has some ties with John Spytek, our GM. When he was with the Buccaneers, he was a part of the team that drafted Jamal Dean. Jamal Dean is 28 years old, and last year he had 3 interceptions, which was a career high for him. He has for his career 40 pass breakups over the seven seasons that he's been with the Bucs. He fits in the zone coverage as a pressure defensive linebacker that allows him to basically, mirror the quarterback, you know what I'm saying, and basically, be that zone coverage and reading the quarterback. So he's one to be on the perimeter, when they're in the zone coverage, because I think we're going to be running a base 3-4 with the big nickel. So he would definitely be someone that we should be looking at that fits that scheme. And again, he has ties with Spytek. He was, like I said again, he was in that room that made the ultimate decision to draft him. So he knows the character, he knows the player, he knows the production. So that's why he's on the list. And 28 years old. Spotrac has 3 years, 37.5 million with an average of 12.5 million a year. So someone to definitely keep an eye on, especially with the ties and, like I said, the production that we need from our linebacker position, or I'm sorry, from our cornerback position. So the next cornerbacks is it's going to be two from Seattle. Again, there's the ties with Kubiak. The first one is going to be Kobe Durant. Cobes, he's been in the league for 4 years, but he's only started the last 2 years. So he's coming into his own. Again, he's he's ascending. He's kind of right in his prime. So he's definitely got a couple years of production still left in him. You know what I'm saying? Like I said again, because he's only started to like the last 2 years. He's only been in the league for 4 years and he's 28. So with him having some being familiar with with Kubiak and everything like that, I think this is someone that we should keep an eye on. Someone to possibly take a flyer on if we do miss out on some of the cornerbacks that I named or whatever. So he's one, and the other one is going to be Josh Jobe. Again, Seattle. He's 28 years old. What I like about Josh is that he's a long physical corner. He can play press. He can play off. So he can play. He's versatile. He can play, like I said, he can play the man, or he can also play zone. He had 10 pass breakups in 2025. He has speed. He can transition in and out of his breaks, and he's very instinctive. With the defender. He can stack the wide receiver. So he's definitely, like I said, he's definitely someone that we should definitely look at, just because of with the ties that he has to Kubiak. And what I like is that Spotrac has his fair market value at 3 years, 29.2, which is an average of 9.7 million a year. So the price is right. Again, with the system that we're going to be running again. I know this is a theme. Rob Leonard it comes from the Mike Macdonald tree, right? Mike Macdonald, Seattle, a lot of these players hitting the free agent list, especially on defense. We should be definitely looking at bringing to our team, right? Because again, they will know the verbiage. They know, when Rob Leonard calls out a play or puts in the play or whatever. It may be he may word it different, but they would understand the nuances of what Rob Leonard is going to is calling, and they can relay that or pass it down to the other players in their group, or in their respective rooms or whatever. So, but yeah. So going back to that's Josh Jobe. But going back to Kobe Durant, he's a little bit smaller, has a smaller frame. He's 5'11", 185 pounds. But what I like about man is his toughness. He can run. He can play inside. You know what I'm saying? So like if we go to 3-4, he can be that. And when we do the base 3-4 with the big nickel, I mean he can be the nickel cornerback, right? Because of his size and his speed and acceleration in his footwork, will definitely fit inside if that's what we wanted to do. And what I like about it, again, he's a go getter, man. He gets the ball. I mean, he had 4 interceptions last year and returned 1 for a touchdown. So ball production, man, that's what we need. Ball production, get that ball and get it back to the offense and get it back to Mr. Fernando Mania, right? So that's what I'm looking for when we're trying to build this team and do this rebuild. Get these players, man, that can get after the ball. So, and the last corner I want to talk about is Alontae Taylor from New Orleans. He's 27 years old. He has some ties with Kubiak when Kubiak was in New Orleans. So again, going against Alontae, seeing the person that Alontae is, going against Alontae in practice, what I'm saying? So he should have a good idea and a good book on Alontae. And again, being 27 years old, he brings a lot of versatility and an urgent play style when when he's out there on the field. He has the speed to cover receivers on the perimeter, but he can also be disruptive role in a slot. So again, going in that 3-4 big nickel, someone that can play in the slot, so he can be versatile in that aspect. And in the 4 seasons that he's been with the Saints, he's got 4 interceptions and 40 pass breakups, and also has 7 sacks from the cornerback position. So now he is a little bit on the high end. He is the highest cornerback, and that's why he's lower, like I said, on my list. Because if I'm spreading my money, and Linderbaum, going $24 million a year, and then going out and getting Odafe Owe, that's $19.3 million, and what I'm saying. So I got to start kind of thinning out my my money when I'm looking at the players, the other players in the free agency, to feel again intelligently aggressive. So, but I did put him on the list because he is productive. And Spotrac has him at 3 years, $47.4 million a year, with an average of $15.8 million a year. So, so that rounds out the cornerback position, and the next position that is an area of focus is the safety position. That room is very thin. So as of right now, we only have 2 safeties on a roster, and that's Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Palamao. So we're definitely then. They did re-sign Tristan McCullum. I don't know if he's going to play cornerback or safety. I mean, he can play both. So you can probably add him to the safety room if you wanted to. I mean, he's more of a corner, but so safety is a position highly of need. And the first person that I will be looking at is Reed Blankenship from the Eagles. He's 27 years old. What I like about him is that he is a like a every down safety, right? What I'm saying? Some safeties, you got to take off the field because they're not great in coverage, or they're not great in the run. I mean, he can do both. I mean, he can spin to the post. He can, you can split the field and put him in split field alignments. You can put him up in the seam to cover tight ends. You can, put him to where he's a top down defender. You know what I'm saying? So he's very versatile. He's got 9 interceptions over his 4 years with the Eagles. And he's just a solid defender, and definitely solid in the run game. So that's for someone that is young and 4 years with the Eagles and already got 9 career interceptions from the safety position. Yeah, that's not something to sneeze at. So 27 years old, Spotrac has his fair market value at 2 years at $14.3 million. That's $7.2 million a year. That's somebody would be worth the money and to bring in, especially with the defense that we're going to be running. Hey, what do you know? We got another Seattle defender on the list. So we got safety Kobe Bryant, 27 years old. Um, what I like about Kobe is that he's versatile. He can play corner and he can play safety. So he's played both in his career, right? He's interchangeable, right? He has the vision to jump on the balls, and that's why I think that's why they put him at safeties, because his ball like awareness, being able to to diagnose it and see it and then jump the ball. His instincts. I think that's why they put him at safety. But like I said, he does have both where he can play corner and safety. He's got 4 interceptions. Uh, in 2025. So he's getting, he's seeing it. He's getting better. I mean, he's got 7 interceptions for his career, and the last 2 years, he had 3 last year and 4 this year, and he had 0 the first 2 years. So again, getting familiar, getting to know the NFL, and he's only getting better. 27 years old, and being able to be versatile, and again, having some familiarity with Kubiak, and also playing under the scheme that we're going to be kind of running in Vegas with the Raiders. Uh, Being on the Mike McDonald scheme, it's only a no-brainer that we look at that and definitely pluck as many of the Seattle Seahawks free agents that we possibly can. So, and Spochak, has his fair market value at 2 years, 28.5 million at 14.3 million a year. Now, I think the reason why, and he is the highest safety on the list of players that I'm looked at, is because of the versatility and the ball production like the last 2 years. 7 interceptions in the last 2 years, right? Um, and they see that he's ascending, right? And then being, like I said again, being versatile, they can play corner and they can play safety. It drives up the value. So he is the highest safety on the list, but again, would be well worth it to bring in. So the next safety is Jalen Thompson from Arizona. Thompson is a really good safety. He has a really good feel for route concepts when playing over the top and playing the seams, playing wide, playing that wide cover 2 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you want to put him underneath as a zone defender, he can absolutely play that role as well. You can match him up, because he's got the size and everything. You can match him up with tight ends or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So he can play the vertical game. Take away the seams and stuff like that. So also aggressive downhill as a run defender. So in the 7th season with the Cardinals, he's got 9 interceptions and 34 pass breakups. So he's very productive in that area or whatever. So someone that we can definitely need to take a look at. 2 years, 18.9 million with an average of 9.5 million a year. Something that is very doable. So another person on the list that we should be looking out for. All right, so the next on the list is going to be Nick Cross from the Colts. He's 25 years old. He's an explosive linear safety. He can create chaos in the run and the pass game. Definitely more in the run game as a hit defender. He has versatility to play in multiple levels on the field in the right system. And in the 4 years with the Colts, he has 5 interceptions, 3.5 sacks, and 12 tackles for loss. So again, he's at that right age at 25 years old, still getting entering his prime, getting better every season. And like I said, he can play multiple positions, and you just play him all over the field. So And Spotrac has him at 4 years, 24.2 million, with an average of 6.1 million a year. So definitely a player that if we brought him into the building would be productive and like I said, bring some depth to that room. Because I do look for them to go out and definitely address safety in the draft as well. So I mean, because there's some really good safeties coming out in the draft. So and we got 11 picks. So we definitely be doing some moving and shaking when come draft time. But he's definitely someone that I would bring into the building or look to bring into the building. And last but not least is the last safety on the list is Jaquan Brisker from Chicago. He's 27 years old. He is a downhill safety that creates disruption near the line of scrimmage. So he's one of these the box safeties. Brisker played 17 games last year. He did miss some time in 2024. 2024. But other than that, he has been reliable. He is an alley filler who can blitz. Plus, he can play over the top in a deep half of the field. So, in 4 years with the Bears, Brisker has 4 interceptions, 7 sacks, and 14 pass breakups. Again, ball production is there, experience is there, being able to be versatile and play in the box, but also can play cover 2, cover 4. Play in the wide. Stretch the field with the safeties, whatever. So. He's definitely has the versatility to do that. He's 27, like I said, 3 years, 33.2 million with an average of 11.1 million a year. So with Jeremy Chinn and Isaiah Palmao and Tristan McCullough, if you wanted to move him to safety from cornerback, is a very thin room. So we definitely need to put some bodies and talent in that room for sure. All right, so let's transition over to the offensive side of the ball. I know we did the offensive line and everything like that. Like I said, we got to protect our future asset in Fernando Mendoza. So now, after focusing more on the defensive side, because that's where most of our holes is on the defensive side. We need to get better on that side of the ball. Now let's transition our focus back on the offensive side and get, some playmakers for Fernando. Saying we got to build around him. And our wide receiver room right now, we have Jack Best, Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton Jr., Philip Dorsett, Cedric Jackson, Brendan Rice, and Justin Shorter. That is our wide receiver room. So not really knowing what, Jack Best, Trey Tucker is not really a one. I mean, he was thrust into that role once Jacoby Myers, left or whatever. I mean, he's not a traditional one. So what we need to do is we need to get a number one receiver, someone to play on the outside, play the X or whatever. That way we can slide Jack Best into his role, which is a number 2 receiver. And then that will slide Trey Tucker into his role, which is the third receiver, which is the slot receiver or whatever. So everybody will be put in their roles. Now, I know this is not a free agent pickup or whatever, but I would love. So now that, I'm saying, with the picks that we have, I would love if the Raiders went out and made a phone call to Jacksonville and see what the price is to get Brian Thomas Jr. From Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks like he kind of fell out of the rotation there in Jacksonville. Doesn't seem like him and Trevor click. You know what I'm saying? So I think sending a fourth or something like that to to the Jags or whatever for Brian Thomas would be something that I would look at. But as far as free agency, the high price name out there is Alex Pierce, and um, I think he's going to be a little bit too high, especially if we go heavy on defense, heavy on getting Linderbaum at 24 mil a year. I think he may be too pricey, but he would be perfect. He is a receiver man that is fast, that can stretch the field, and he has hands. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he has dropped passes from what I've seen from the games or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or looking at highlights or just kind of reading up on him or whatever. It doesn't look like he drops passes or anything like that. I mean, he's 6'3", 211 pounds. He has averaged 21.3 yards per catch last year. He's also topped 1,000 yards receiving mark with 6 touchdowns. So he's very productive. He has great straight line speed. So he'll definitely open up the field and stretch the field, for the underneath stuff for Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers, Jack Besh of the world can eat underneath. So he definitely opens up the coverage underneath for other players to get targets or whatever. So I don't expect us to get him, but he is on the list just for the simple fact of the production. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, who knows? We may, miss out on some of the others, and we do get an Alex Pierce. But anyways, he is like the Linderbaum. He is a high priority, and a lot of teams are going to be looking at him. So he'll be definitely a good catch if we can get him. All right, stop me if you heard this before. Another player on the list from Seattle that has Kubiak ties. But that player is none other than Rashid Shaheed. He's 28 years old. We all know what he brings to the table. I mean, he's been with Kubiak from New Orleans to Seattle, and hopefully to our Raiders. He's, like I said, he's 28 years old. We know that Shaheed can stretch the field vertically. Plus, he's dangerous underneath. He can turn screens, passes, man, from chunk plays to taking them to the house. So he definitely will provide an upgrade in that area, and also his special weapon is special teams. Made the Pro Bowl last year as a special team player. Something that we've lacked for so damn long, man. Like I don't understand how and why we can't get our kick return and punt return game back. Like it's been forever since we've had someone take one to the house on the kick and punt return, and Shaheed will definitely bring that element to the game. And like I said, I'm almost like booking it right now. If he is to sign with us and he puts on that silver and black, I guarantee you he takes one to the house. I promise you, he's going to take one to the house. So let's hope that we can keep this 3 for 3. Kubiak had him in New Orleans. He left, went to Seattle, and he traded for him, got him over to Seattle, and now he's a free agent. And let's hope that he can lure him one more time and to play for him. So his fair market value right now is 3 years, $42.3 million a year, $14.1 million average average salary a year. I will pay that for the production that I know I'll get with him from the kick return, punt return game, and also what he can provide as a stress to field wide receiver, and can turn screen games to touchdowns. Yeah, uh, sign me up for that. So definitely go get him in free agency. So the next guy that I put on the list is someone, man, nobody's really talking about. But again, the reason why I put him on the list is because he has Kubiak ties. So when Kubiak was in San Francisco, and the one year that he was a play caller for Kyle Shanahan, it was one of the most productive seasons that Jawan Jennings had. So he was definitely very productive under Kubiak when Kubiak was offense coordinator in San Francisco. Again, he knows the system, he knows the verbiage. He can come in. He's a veteran. He's 29. He can come in and teach the younger guys, the offense, and you know what I'm saying. So he can just be a mentor, but he's also productive as well. Even though he's 29, he's 6'3", 213 pounds. He is a consistent route runner. He plays through contact. He's physical. To be in Shanahan's scheme, you got to be a physical wide receiver. You got to block. So and he definitely does that. He caught 55 passes last year. He was kind of in and out of the lineup, with injuries or whatever, but still managed to catch 9 touchdowns. So, yes, he's a little bit older, 29, but that'd be something that you can just bring in again for 1-2 years. I think Spotrac has it for 3 years, 67.8 million. At 22.6 million a year. Now, I would not go that high, and I don't think he's going to get that in the open market. But now, if he does reach that, I'm out on that. But I mean, we can come to a middle ground, say around 12 to 14 million. Then I'll do that. But anyways, that's why. I had him on the list because his most productive season came under Kubiak when Kubiak was offensive coordinator, and he does have the experience in the scheme. So, all right, the last group is going to be the running back group. Kubiak's system, he likes to have he likes to split with the running back. We got Ashton Jeanty, but we really need to get some other bodies in the room. We're losing Zamir White. I think Dylan Lobby is still on the roster or whatever. So like I said, Kubiak wants to have that 1-2 punch, and I'm pretty sure we'll probably do that in the draft as well. But the 4 names that I got, I'm just going to run down real quickly. And they're all back. They've all been backups in the league, so they kind of know their role. So they wouldn't have a problem coming in knowing that Ashton Jeanty is going to be the number 1 running back, and you're going to be a backup. So the first one's going to be Rachaad White. He's 27. Spotrac has him at 2 years, $6 million a year, or $6 million, which is an average salary of $3 million a year. Perfect for a backup running back. Kenneth Gainwell, 27 years old, again 2 year, $6 million with an average salary of $3 million. Perfect backup money. Brian Robinson, 27 years old, 1 year, $3 million. So again, $3 million average salary for a backup. And now another one that I put on the list is Tyler Allgeier. He's 26 years old. Spotrac has him at 3 years, $17 million with an average salary of $5.7 million. Again, we all know these guys. We all know the production that these guys have done in the NFL. So what I'm looking at is I'm just looking at somebody that knows their role. I get that Kenneth Walker's out there. He has familiarity with Kubiak or whatever. but he's going to be too high. And he's going to want to, again, he wants to kind of showcase that he can be the number one, right? He's looking to go to a team that's probably going to give him a starting position or whatever. So now if we can get, Kenneth Walker and he comes in and he is comfortable knowing that, okay, Genty's the guy. And then, you're going to play that role like you did with Charbonnet, cool. But I don't think that he's going to do that. So if we're going to get a running back and bring a running back in the room, get running backs that they know the role, these 4 running backs has done that. So, all right. Well, Raider Nation, man, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. I definitely want to give you guys some nuggets, give you some guys that no one's talking about. No one's really talking about on the Raider Nation radio. I mean, some of the names are, but a lot of the names are not. We gotta just throw other stuff out there than just the top names or whatever. So again, a lot of these guys have the familiarity with the coaching staff and the system and the schemes that we're going to run. So, all right. Again, help your boy out, like and subscribe to the page. Definitely help me out. Help me continue to put content out for you guys, man, because I do it for you guys. I do all this research and stuff. I'm saying, because I know how it was whenever I was going through and looking at information and needing information or whatever. I'm saying, there was not places to find it. I get it. There's a lot of content creators that's out there that is doing their thing. And a lot of them, I'm saying, I'm 52. So a lot of them knows how to go in and do their pages and stuff like that, I'm saying, and make it, colorful and all of that stuff, right? I don't know how to do that. I don't have a producer. I don't have someone that can go in and edit and put graphics and stuff like that. I'm saying? So I got to do what I can, and what I know is I can give you guys great, content and great knowledge, right? I will break things down and give you guys, a lot of content to where, you get the numbers and you get this and you get that or whatever. So I go into detail. A lot of, content creators don't do that or whatever. So again, I'm blessed, to have you guys that subscribe, whoever's subscribed to me, thank you so much. Whoever, saying watches and likes the page, thank you so much. And like I said, it'll mean a lot if you guys can like and subscribe to my page. The next podcast that I'm gonna come out with is going to be talking about hopefully coming out with one with the after free agency with the draft and start looking at the draft prospects. So all right, Raider Nation, you guys stay up, and until next time.